Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton, where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I am Linda Smith. I'm an emeritus practitioner here with the center, and I'd like for you to know that we are an inclusive spiritual organization. We teach qualities like oneness, compassion, and love. We honor you and all people wherever we are on our spiritual journeys. Our vision statement is to awaken the spiritual magnificence of ourselves, our one humanity, and our planet Earth. Our mission statement is to transform ourselves and to the world. Our purpose statement: we are a community of love that supports all people in experiencing real transformation. And centered right here in this wonderful, lovely moment here this morning, I'm knowing that the peace and the prosperity and wisdom and the divine guidance and the infinite grace, divine love of God, of the thing itself, is right here, right now, with each and every one of us that is here, with each and every person who is hearing us online or seeing us online. I know that all are blessed. I know that this service is in perfect divine right order. There is a great revelation, great wisdom, great spiritual significance coming through each and every person that is listening and participating in this experience, in this service, in this moment of all of us together. I know that this is a blessing, and I give thanks, and so be it, and so it is. And we're going to do a candle lighting right now. In honor of the world's religions, we light a candle for our first candle is being lit for the Native American traditions. When you are in doubt, be still and wait. When doubt no longer exists for you, then go forward with courage. So long as be still until the sunlight pours through and dispels the mists, as it surely will. Then, with is being lit for Buddhism. However many holy words you read, how many you speak, what good will they do you if you do not act upon them? The third candle is being lit for Taoism. The moon does not fight. It attacks no one. It does not worry. It does not try to crush others. It keeps to its course, but by its very nature, it gently influences. What other body could pull an entire ocean from shore to shore? The moon is faithful to its nature, and its power is never diminished. The fourth candle is being lit for Christianity. Rejoice not over me, O my enemy, because I have fallen. I shall rise again. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord of light shall be a light to me. The fifth candle is for Druidism. When we were born, you did the same for us. You called forth the earth and rocks. The sea arose and the sun descended. The moon shone down and the winds sang. For those who come after, we shall do as you did for us. When we are gone, we shall do as you did before. The sixth candle is for Jainism. If a person's mind is controlled by the forces of revenge and jealousy, it cannot express love and sympathy. And even if they show love and sympathy to others, it will yield no good result. The thought will not be reflected, but love. The thought will not be reflected in love, but in hate. The 7th candle is for the science of mind. Our images of thought arise from within a medium in which both the one who sees and that which is seen exist in a state of inner unity. God exists in everything. God exists in me. And because God exists in me, I am able to recognize other beings in whom God exists. Spirit is the medium through which I am conscious of myself, of others, and of my environment. I'm going to do a meditation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play my harp for a little bit. And after I finish playing, I'm going to ask you to spend a few minutes in the silence. If you will, spend a few moments in the silence with me. Thank you. The reading day is this one. Okay. In the midst of this drama of human existence, Jesus declared that the meek shall inherit the earth. Let us inquire if his teaching is true, if it's a true one. Do we teach our children to follow the steps of a Caesar, of a Napoleon? Or do we tell them the story of Jesus or of Buddha? The cross is mightier than the crown, and we teach our children that love masters everything. The meek shall inherit earth. To whom have our artists turned for inspiration? and that quickening power which enables them to depict the ideal, not to the warlords, nor even the captains of industry, but to the meek. What characteristics are set before us as being worthy? Have not faith and belief in the divine goodness been the theme of our greatest singers? Who could write a beautiful story about hell? But heaven and love have inspired thousands to the uplifting of humanity. Jesus was right when he said that the meek shall inherit the earth. They have done so and will continue to do so.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So happy to be here. You're going to hear from three of us. It's your lucky day. So it's nice to be up here again. I haven't been here to do this sermon since I think the end of October. So this is really, really nice. And Reverend Catherine is on her needed, I don't know, vacation. I don't think she left. I think that she's someplace. But anyway, a needed resting day. Let's say that. So this month has been about holy, holy uprising. So I think about that as that uprising of spirit within our own self, the uprising of who we are. I think in this past year, I think we've realized maybe what our values are and what's uprising within our own selves, valuing our connections with other people, valuing who we are and how important we are to one another. You know, all that isolation. I think there is a holy uprising with all right here, right now, on so many levels. I don't think that it's portrayed really negative in the media, but I don't think that it has to be this negative thing. I think that the uprising of our own soul, our own being, is because there's much needed changes that are absolutely occurring right now. And so our talk today then is about boldly living a new story. It's a pretty, that theme in and of itself is in religious science. I mean, I know I've talked about this and we've talked about this for years and years. What's our new story? But really boldly living a new story. I think that with all that isolation that we had in that last year, I think it's time to be bold. It's time to stand up and to celebrate our own lives and our talents and the inclusivity of everyone. And I think that's really important. So what stories about our individual and collective past do we continue to tell? You know, if we're going to be honest, sometimes, you know, our stories are not the most life affirming. Let's just say that. What if this Sunday we commit to changing this narrative, imagining being so bold as to truly embody principle as author and not precedent? So our science of mind point of view, the soul, being the seat of memory, already contains a record of everything that has ever happened to us. Oh, good Lord. That could be a whole bunch of stuff right there. You know, it's remembering everything. These memories as a whole constitutes the subjective tendency of the individual life. This tendency can be changed through constant effort. That's the good news, right? That we can change our mind, we can change the way that we feel, we can change our thoughts, we can dig through a whole bunch of belief systems with our help as practitioners, right? That's what we're here to do. And have a different type of a story. Because we got all kinds of stories. You know, we can fill in the blank to these stories, make believe up some stories, stories about ourselves, stories about other people, whether we know them or not. We can make up these stories about the people in the line store, or make up these stories about people in the bank there's some very colorful people in the bank I go to. So I don't know, but I can make up all kinds of stories about that. Or, with these different stories that we have, I can convince myself things about other people that maybe I only have a small piece of that information. And media is really good at that, right? They only want to really portray the things that they really want us to see sometimes about a person, which is absolutely can be completely false. But how many times have we done the same thing where just taking one little piece of something and then making a whole story up about it and then making it really, really big? I don't know about you. I don't know if you do that. I know that I've done that. I don't even mean to do that. Sometimes, right, Michael's like, yep, I've done that for sure. We've all done that. And I think sometimes what it is it's one way that I can justify my position. I can judge you. I can be more superior. I can blame you so I don't take any responsibility for any of my stuff, for any of my part in things, but I can make you the bad person. But maybe it's work that I haven't really done emotionally, that is coming out and it comes out sideways, these different things. I want to make it about them sometimes just because I maybe don't want to avoid, I want to avoid and not deal with, my grief or my emotional pain or trauma. So a lot of times we'll make up those stories. So here's a situation. I was a recipient of someone who made up a great story. So I thought I was doing a great thing. And I thought, I know this from a group that I go to, and they needed a ride to this group. And I don't know that person very well, but I know their story. I know their story about them because of what they've said about themselves in this particular group. So I thought, I'll be a nice person. I'll take this person and, give them a ride to here and there. And this is when I was married in the past. And so we're going to go out to eat afterwards. I thought, I'll invite this person to go out to eat, and just take them right back to their house. And I thought, this is great, gave them and then I took them back to their house. Well, then out of the blue, I get this phone call of this woman just ranting and raving and yelling and screaming at me about stuff. I'm like, what is she talking about? I mean, it was like, oh my God, there was no way to get a word in whatsoever. And then she just hangs up the phone. I'm like, what? What just happened? What in the world was that? Anyway, she made up the whole entire story about what her perception of what just happened. I'm thinking, I'm a nice thing. I'm invited you out to go out to lunch with me. You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't know. Anyway, it was so bizarre. So I got really, not only did that faultive, but I couldn't justify anything. I couldn't defend myself. I was mad. I was really mad. And then I had to obsess about it for a while. Nobody does that. I had to obsess about it. Then I had to make a whole story up about that person. And then I thought, I had to talk about some people, I talked to some other people about it as well. And, those are the people that they're not justifying my stuff. They're not gonna, they're telling me if whether I had a part in that or not. And that's a good friend to have. People who aren't gonna just co-sign your stuff, for you. But then I went into prayer about it. And I thought, this person, knowing their story, that they are living out of their victimization for good reason, and that's a way that they keep themselves safe. That's a way they keep themselves safe and protected for their perception of something that was doing them harm. So what that did for me, then it allowed me to have compassion and empathy and grace. Now, I haven't seen that person in a really, really long time. This happened a long time ago, but doesn't mean I need to have somebody be assaultive to me verbally. That doesn't mean that then you're my best friend, because, whatever. The point is that I was able to turn that around so that I could see them the way that I want to see them. I could see them in a way that I wish that they could see themselves, that they are divine, that they are whole, that they are complete, and that I hope that they could forgive themselves in their situation that they came out of and be able to work through all of that emotional pain, because what it does, unfortunately, is it doesn't allow that person to have all the love that they deserve because of pushing all these people away from them, which I understand. Absolutely, it's a protective thing. But who's been the recipient of me, you know? Who's been the recipient of me making up a story and putting my anger out on somebody else, and making that story? So I remember that because I remember how that feels. And I don't want to continue to project that to other people. How can I live conditional love, be the light, boldly living a new story, boldly being responsible for myself, boldly being responsible for what I say and what I do and how I do it? Because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And, you know, living in a relationship definitely allows you to know that about yourself and get reflected all the things that you're like, oh, that's a pattern in my relationships. Oh, I better change that, because I want to have more emotionally intimate relationships with other people, because that's what I've missed all year. I mean, I've had that with, you know, people I live with, my coworkers, and different things that I've seen all of this time, but I've really missed that. And so I know that that is where we are boldly living. So I'm just really understanding that our truth is for ourselves, investigating these beliefs and where they've come from. And like I said before, us as practitioners are here to really help you uncover those things so you can continue to live the best life that you can live for you, so that you can continue to unload things that don't serve you any longer, that maybe are that protective part of yourself that does not allow you to get what you need. That's what we're here to do for you. So I'm going to pass this on now to Andy. Get to hear Andy talk about all this stuff. So this will be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lana. So today we're talking about the stories that we tell. And I saw this day or two ago on Facebook, and I thought it really illustrated some things about the stories we tell. And this says, this actually was shared by somebody who's not somebody who's part of our spiritual community here. Doesn't mean the story is theirs. It was a meme, but they shared it. It says, I was my husband, how sad that students were having to go through this, the pandemic, through their senior year. And he replied, in 1964 to 70, many kids took their senior trip to Vietnam. At least the kids are home. This does put things in a different perspective. And I think the perspective is very important in attaching meaning to the story that we tell. I mean, to the first person here, the one telling the story, those children were stuck at home. To this in their perspective, they were safe at home. It completely alters the meaning of it based on the perspective that they take. And the meaning is given here is whether they were being harmed or being helped. One side, the students were going through stress, boredom, isolation, all these negative things. But in the other one, they were healthy, they were safe, they were secure. It turns the meaning completely around depending on our perspective. Now we can look at things that we give to our experiences and the stories that we tell also, and by watching the meanings that we attach, it can completely change our experiences. It can change life as we go through it. We need to watch those meetings. Brené Brown says the most dangerous stories we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness. And that's it. That's what we don't want to say. And to avoid telling ourselves that we can't do this, this is always really hard, we're not able, we're not good enough. And instead, we can focus on the meanings that say that we are good enough, that we can do this, we're working on it, we will accomplish it. I went through this yesterday, not Friday, excuse me. It passes so fast. It was Friday with my food benefits. Ohio food benefits. I was trying to get that renewed. I get this letter in the mail that says it's time to reapply for your food benefits. And you could either send this form to us or email it or do it on a website. So first I could go, well, let's try the website. That's the easiest. Of course, the website they gave was the website for all of Ohio's benefits, all types. And there was no direction on what to go or where to do. And so I went through this and I created an account for myself and I attached a case to my account, and still I couldn't find any way to reapply for food benefits. I really felt like I was getting run around and like this is really getting discouraged. So I figured I'll call them. I'll call the number that they give and ask them how to do this. Well, after waiting 15 minutes on hold, the first person I talked to said I was talking to the wrong place. I needed to call the computer help desk. That was his other number. So I called the computer help desk. They said, we don't give help on that particular system. We give help on a different system. So here's the number you need to call. And I went, that's the same number I called first. They're the ones that told me to call you. And they said, that's the only number we have. And at that time, I was really getting discouraged. I was really, I don't think this is going to work out for me. I'm going to have to go down there in person and try and find somebody to talk to, and it's going to spend the day, and it's just not going to be good. But I'm thinking, well, I'm getting a little bit closer to it. Let me try calling this number back again and see whether maybe they can help. They can find another way to do this. And so I called the number in another minutes, but I was really feeling we're getting there. And I asked them if there's any other way than the website to do this. They said, oh, sure, you can email it. Okay, well, where do I email it? Oh, you email it to this number. Well, can I scan it and attach the document? Oh, yes, scan it and attach the document, email it. And I had it was funny because just when I started to feel like I was working on this, like it was going to happen, like I was getting one step closer, and now suddenly everything just cleared up. It went from being run around, I'll never get it, it's hopeless, I'm powerless before this big government agency. And then it's like, no, I can do it. I'm working on it. It'll work out. And it did. And I emailed this thing in. And so I really went from feeling hopeless to feeling capable, just because of changing perspective, changing the way I looked at the situation. Because when I began to see this change, when I began to feel the change, there really hadn't been any change. I'd just been running around different phone numbers, or two of them with the same phone number, but three different times. But that feeling changed, and I think that made all the difference there as far as changing things. And so that's what I really would encourage people to do, is to, when we get in difficult situations, look at it as, I can do this, I'm working on it, it's going to happen, I'm getting closer, rather than just like, oh my God, this will never work out. And that's how we take our stories and use that to change the meaning, to really change the meaning behind that story. And now I'm going to turn this over to another fellow practitioner here, Michael Morrison, who is going to present the final portion of our collective talk today. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So we continue to explore this concept of living a bold new story. And Lana and Andy have given us great points of view and starting points. But where do we go from here? If we want to live a bold new story, where do we go from here? And I think we have to return to our center. We are the centers for spiritual living. We live from the center of spirit itself. And spirit manifests itself through principle. Let boldly live from those principles of truth, the principles of gratitude, the principle of spiritual conviction, the principle that we are unique expressions of the divine. It said that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I think we're spiritual beings having an experience. And when we look at that, we know that as spiritual beings, that as we take a hold of the truth that our conscious thoughts are the directors of our experience. And we know that as you change your thinking, you change your life. So where do you go? The question for each of us. We can go anywhere we want. So where do you want to go? What bold new experience do you want to experience? But let me also throw out the possibility, does it have to be bold? Who says? Does it have to be this grand idea? Could be. Or do I also get to have the choice of going with the status quo? Hey, I feel like I just want to be right where I'm at, safe and secure. Is it wrong? Is it right? We get to decide. We get to stand in our spiritual conviction and decide what experience we choose to have. So looking also from the principle of gratitude, we can look at our stories, our past, and be grateful for those experiences and where they got us to. But at the same time, that paradox is that you can maintain that attachment and maintain those energy bonds to that story and perpetuate, or we can be grateful for where it got us and release our attachment and stand in our spiritual conviction and say, now this is where I'm going. This is what I'm choosing. As those divine sons of God that we are, incarnate right here, right now. That spiritual conviction from what we speak from speaks into the spiritual magnificence of the universe and the creative medium and says, yes. Simply yes. You want to hold on to that attachment and stay where? Yes. You want this new thing? Yes. You want this big, bold thing? Yes. You want this little small thing? Yes. Is the big one better than the small one? No. In one of the previous past Sundays, we explored the concept. Everything is God, is spirit, big or small, magnificent, bold, simple, and profound and beautiful. It is all spirit living the story, living the experience. And it is true that principle is not dependent on precedent. You don't have to look at the past and say, this is how my future has to be. The principle itself and the law of spirit says, yes. What do you choose? What are the seeds that you plant? What is the impression upon the divine medium that you choose to imprint today? You know something? Whatever I do today is what will manifest tomorrow. And if tomorrow is something that I will continue, I get that. If it's not, I get to say, awesome, that was interesting. Thank you. I release that attachment. This is now what I want. And it's infinite. This is spirit. Living from spiritual conviction of who and what we are. That is how we move forward into our next story. Yes, we're grateful for what we've experienced, but we get to choose. And that is spirit unfolding and ever expanding. Sometimes if we give up that, we question ourselves, then who am I? Who am I? If I give that up, who am I? And we all have to answer that question for ourselves. But the truth is, it's the same answer for every one of us. We are spirit. In all that that means. And we are ever unfolding and experiencing and expanding and growing and just reveling in life itself. In many ways, our stories are part of one story. Our pain is part of one pain. Our surprise at the beauty and the fragility of life is part of our one course of awe. That's from Mark Nepo in his 7,000 Ways to Listen. It's a wonderful book. This is the story of your life. Just keep on knocking at the doorway of your own conscious until every no becomes a yes and every negation an affirmation. Every fear, a faith. From Ernest Holmes. So where do we go? Where do you want to go from? Wherever you want. Please join me in affirmative prayer and treatment as we return to spirit, to the center of spirit. Knowing that spirit is the very essence of life, creation, that is both the creator and the created, ever flowing and ebbing and flowing, expanding. That spirit which expresses itself through the magnificence of the universe. What we experience on this planet we call Earth is nature. That magnificent and boundless beauty and wonder. Forever and ever moving forward, experiencing something new. Spirit, which is the very essence of life, in its wholeness, in its completeness, past infiniteness. In that truth of the wholeness of spirit, I know that means that I cannot be anywhere else. That spirit moves not only around me, not only through me, but as me. And as I know this truth, as I stand in that spiritual conviction and speak these words, I claim it for every one of us. For that is the truth. And coming from that center, live from that center, I know that we each can claim the next experience, the next story of our lives. Starting right here, right now, this very moment. This very moment is where the allness of spirit is forever and ever and ever. It is where the infinite law says yes, always and forever. So how wonderful that to know that truth, live from the truth, to stand in that truth, to speak from that truth is. And so I know that the words that I speak are fulfilled. It is done. I release it. And together we say, and so it is. And now I'd like to welcome Lana back up for closing and Thanksgiving and all that good stuff.
All right, that battery is not working. That we always have problems with that thing. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for that delay. Now it is time for our conscious giving. There are several ways to provide or tie a gift to Center for Spiritual Living Greater Dayton. Please use Kroger's Amazon Smile program that continues to that contributes to us at no additional cost to you. So if you can just please take your gift in your hand and place it over your heart. And this is from John Randolph. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich omnipresence of substance of the universe, this all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich omnipresent substance of the universe. This all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as our community and center, the reality of us all. And for those of you who are in the sanctuary, there are little tables with skirts on them with baskets there that you can place your gift to tithe with. Thank you for that. Some announcements. Excuse me. So for Reverend Catherine, will teach money and the law of attraction. This is a free class. It will start June 1st, Tuesday evenings, 7 to 8:30 p.m. for 7 weeks via Zoom. Then join practitioner emeritus Marge Russell every Sunday morning at 9:30 to 10:30 via Zoom for Science of Mind 101 for prayer and discussion. Zoom information, class registration, and in-person reservations are all available in the weekly e-newsletter. If you would like to receive our weekly e-newsletter, please let Reverend Catherine know by leaving her a message or text at 614-506-4261. If you would like prayer, our prayer line number is 937-343-5855. Call or text, all that stuff comes to me, and then I disseminate that information to all the other practitioners and Reverend Catherine. You can also request prayer on our website, www.cslgd.org. Please reach out to us as practitioners. We're here to support you. There's also I think it's July 3rd, I don't know if it's a picnic celebration outside, and that will be here at the church. More information will come about that. And then thanks, let's all thank the service team. Yay! Patrick and Andy, thank you. So Emeritus Practitioner Marge Russell for holding the high watch. Emeritus Practitioner Linda Smith for welcoming, and her beautiful harp music and meditation and reading. And then for myself, Lana Mayhew, for Practitioner Andy Hawk, Practitioner Michael Morrison for delivering our message today, and all as well. And so just send them some love and praise on our Facebook chat. That would be awesome and amazing. And please share our page with your friends on Facebook and YouTube. And then a special thanks to you who are all with us for the first time. Please visit our website at www.cslgd.org for previous messages, as well as our calendar of events and classes. Okay, and then, so I'm sorry, I'm reading a whole bunch of stuff. I've been up here a while. I'm like, where am I? Okay. So there is now a reservation link in our weekly newsletter to join us in person for our Sunday service on June 6th. Your leadership council will be making a determination on the attendance limit for the remaining Sunday services in June soon. So I know they'll get together with that. So for our affirmation, oh, is there something? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm like, what's happening? All right. So for our affirmation today, if you can say after me. Okay. Today, I release my old story and behold the new me as the beloved. And now let's join Linda on her harp as we close our service. Thank you very much.